Ain't nothing peculiar about the way that I was raised, and my arm is on the way.
Hi everybody. I hope my unicorn warriors are doing fabulous tonight, Monday night, or whatever night you watch this. I was going to do this a little while ago and just hadn't really had the chance to do it, but kind of go over Johnny's story or the conversation, interview, whatever you want to call it, that we had, and point out some things that I think some people may have missed, maybe not, but and also explain some other things too with the conversation. So I guess we'll do this as setting the record straight breakdown. So all right, and thank you everybody who has liked, subscribed, and commented. I appreciate every single one of y'all, and y'all make sure and hit that subscribe button while you're here and hit that like button. Show me some love, y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Now, of course, it didn't reach everybody.
Right. Yeah, I didn't see that. I'm not really, like, TikTok frustrates me. So,
Yeah.
I mean.
Alright, so here he was talking about, I guess he went on a live with Natasha on TikTok, and that's one of the things I don't like about TikTok is that once the live's over, like, that's it, unless they upload it onto YouTube or something, which I don't know, to be honest, if she's even on YouTube. But I know one day I did see her on a live, and they were talking about Mica's case, and they mentioned something about Johnny, and I was trying to ask questions since she had talked to him, and I was trying to ask questions, and well, they got mad at me for asking questions, and I'm like, well, I'm just trying to find some answers, because like other people. So I just ended up having to stop asking questions because they were getting mad. So
I loved it, but I'm off of it now. I love TikTok.
Yeah, I'll get on there sometimes and maybe watch some videos or maybe post something about, I don't know, something goofy or about my dogs or something. But I mean, it just kind of frustrates me. I feel old.
But like I said, though, I've never been involved in nothing like that. If I knew it was going to blow up like this, I'd have had it was just too fast for me to talk with anybody.
Yeah.
I was more or less on there a while, man. These people were really talking to me. I need to get something out there, and it was like fast. But if I'd have had myself together,
right,
I don't think there would have. People don't know what I went through that day. They don't.
Right.
I'm here listening to somebody crying, but I can't see inside of there. But let me tell you this here, Veronica. If that was her and there, I mean, yeah, people said something about, like you said, do you think that was a recording of a crime? People have mentioned that. I mean, I was like, what? You reckon that's what it could be? But all this technology, it could have been.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to throw this out there. When I got out there on that hill, on that bank with her.
And that's one of my theories, too, because I'm thinking after she left the gas station, maybe that's where she was gonna meet up or something with someone about the divorce papers, and maybe that's why she had that money on her. And I think she was taken at that point, and I'm pretty positive, allegedly, my opinion, that she was already unalived, and she was taken in there somehow. And also in this interview, I don't remember if it was this part or part 2 or 3, but I'll find it and we'll get into it. But no one saw her walking into the park, and I don't think anybody saw her drive her car there. Now, from what I was told by people that were there, is that they saw the car, but I mean, they didn't think nothing of it because it was a birthday party or something going on, or some kind of, or maybe like a church gathering or something. Now, if any of y'all watch CJ, y'all know that not too long ago he came across this church that was close to that gas station somewhere. And what was it? I think when he went to Lumberton, again, I think when they were doing the route or something, I don't know, there was something about another church gathering there at Lumberton. I'll have to go back and double check. But nobody saw her walking. And whoever it was that said that they waved at her and she smiled or something, they were lying. And that would have been the maintenance guy. So now, and as far as the maintenance guy that was working that day, it was not the one that Johnny went to school with. This was one that he didn't know. There's, I guess, 2 of them. So, but we'll get into all that too. But no one saw her walking in there. Nobody seen her. Now, there are back ways into where she was at and different paths and things to get in there that you would be hidden. So there are ways that someone could have taken her in there, played a recording of crying, and then shot them shots. And that's what I've always thought happened.
How long was that?
Mm-hmm.
Just say if that was her in there and she did that herself, she could have seen me and the other people that was out in that slough. You understand what I'm telling you?
All right. He's saying that whoever is back there, be it Mica or whoever, they could see out, but he couldn't see in there from the angle that he was at. He couldn't, see in there. So, whoever was back there placing her, and I've been saying this from the beginning, she wasn't a zombie. She did not do this and then get up, go into the water, and then put stuff on her. Like, it's physically impossible. So, my theory has always been that, okay, they could see, okay, we got somebody out here. Cool, we got a witness. Play the recording of the crying. Fire the shot. Give y'all Easter egg. And we know that there was multiple casings found. So, she was placed there. Broad daylight. What perfect timing. No one is going to suspect that a crime is taking place. And remember, people like J.P. Diddy and these kinds of organizations and things, they will do things out in broad daylight, in plain sight. It's like one of those things, like with the secret society and stuff. It's like they have to tell you, or there's ways that they tell you without telling you. And that's like part of the rules, is that they have to tell you, but they don't have to be like, hey, this is what we're doing. But they'll have a way of telling you without actually telling you, making it seem like, they just playing, So.
It was so thick that you couldn't see in there, but once you got out inside of there, you could see. Of course, you could see the slough real good.
Right.
But if she was standing there, if that's how it really happened with her, I really believe that she's seen me. You see what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
Or they seen him and was thinking, oh, look, we got a witness in broad daylight. They'll hear the crying. They'll hear the shot. She'll be found. Or actually, I don't even think she was supposed to be found. And there's your fall guy right there. There's your distraction right there. Perfect distraction.
Kind of like, depending on what angle you're at, you know, where you can see and where you can't see, depending on where you're at because of the trees and stuff, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that makes total sense, too.
But like, you know, just around here, you just don't go in there on somebody when something like that's going on.
Right.
Because you don't ever know what is going on.
Right, and I mean, that's anywhere, you know. I mean, you don't just run up. I mean, it ain't like it used to be, so.
Right. If I could have seen her or, you know, been able to see her or something, I'd have went over there and tried to consort with her and talk with her. You know, but it happened so fast, Veronica.
Right. There's nothing you could have done. I mean, I'm sure you do, and I pray and hope that you don't blame yourself, because it's, to me right now, I'm looking at you as a hero.
Now, I did catch some heat about this part, but try and understand my thinking behind this is that, okay, if Johnny wasn't there, because remember, she was not supposed to be found. And if they didn't have that ear witness, and Johnny wasn't brave enough to run back there or whatever and pick up her belongings and stuff, and that kayaker be nosy and go up behind her or behind him to see, she would have never been found, y'all. And then if she was, by the time she was found, I mean, she was in water. In water. Covered up. A log. Bags of concrete. Off to the side over there. Remember? So, if Johnny didn't have anything to do with it, and he was just kind of thrown in there and made the distraction without him actually knowing that, you know, this was going on, then, yeah, if it wasn't for him, and then those things happening the way it did, she would have never been found, y'all.
Thank you.
So, since talking with you and, you know, getting to know you a little bit, and, you know, like, because I was actually scared, because, like, I did not want to bother you. And I was like, well, you know, if this is an innocent man, you know, then he needs, I don't know, I have to help people. So.
I do. I thank you. I really appreciate you. I do.
And I'm not going to do anything behind your back. I know you probably heard it a dozen times, but I mean, I'm not going, I mean, anything, I mean, I tell you, show you, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to do anything that would hurt you or anything in any way. I just want to help and, you know, help other people understand that, hey, you know, he's good people.
Right.
And that's what we want. We want to find out what happened. And we don't want to just go around. I mean, it's fine to have questions. I mean, I've had questions too. That's why I reached out to him and said, hey, you know what? I haven't heard, you know, these things talked about. So, okay, let me try and reach out to him. Well, actually, I was trying to reach out to him for CJ so that way we could both find out. And just so happened, Johnny wanted to talk to me. So I did that. And, you know, he did answer a lot of the questions that we all had. And I think a lot of it was missed because, I mean, we talked about so much too, but I think a lot of it was kind of missed because of the conversation, you know, because it wasn't like an interview where I'm like, okay, Mr. Johnny, you know. I mean, it was just like us talking, you know what I mean? And because I don't want to feel, you know, I don't want somebody thinking or feeling like I'm interrogating them or something, you know, like I want them to be themselves and, you know, get as much factual and context and perspective as we can. So.
Thank you. And you know, if you have a question of why did I go back in there, I'm gonna be honest with you, honey. They hit me like I don't know how they hit me when I got home. You know, Dad, you went back up in there.
Right.
After you heard, I don't know why I did that.
Right.
I really don't. But I'm gonna tell you, and this is the God's honest truth, because the God knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
Whenever that shot went off, that's what I felt like had happened.
Right. Yeah, especially after hearing a little cry and, you know, like,
I really, yeah.
And remember, he's always said that the gunshot was not that loud. And if you think about it, if you're back there in woods and you have trees and open space and stuff like that, gunshot is going to be loud, especially if you're that close. Like, it's going to be loud. He's always described that gunshot as like a pop or firecracker or something. Like, it did not sound like the weapon that was found. And we talked about that too. And so that's why I guess maybe another reason why maybe he went back there, because he's like, okay, well, that didn't sound right, you know. So, and nosy people are going to be nosy people. So
I really, deep down in my heart, felt like that. Well, I wasn't thinking about no danger.
Right.
Or nothing of me being in no danger or nothing like that.
Right.
I went back up in there, not fast, because, you know, the water was, that boat that I've got can float in 4 to 5 inches of water.
Right.
But I had a trolling motor on the back of it, okay? Of course, I was hitting things going in there, but I was going in there slow. And I did have to pull my motor up to get across a few things, but the water was up high enough where that boat would float back up into that. People don't understand that. You know, the maintenance man took people out there when the water was about, no, there ain't no way no boat can get in there because the water was low when you was in there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I went on up into that opening, and I happened to look to the bank, and there lay her stuff in a row. It was her, I forgot how it was, but it was the cell phone, the glasses, or the phone, and then the glasses, and then the bag. It was in a row. I picked it up, didn't never look into it, throwed it in the front of my boat. There was a path lead straight to the stuff where she had. I walked to the left and looked, I walked to the right and looked, and I didn't see nothing. I got in my boat. I got the hello up out of there.
Right.
When I left from out of there, I was getting it hard as I could.
Right, I can imagine. And see, that's a lot of the stuff that was like left out of like a lot of the interviews and stuff was like the whole context of things. And people forget, like, because I always like to see like both sides or every side to everything, you know. And it's like, you know, nobody knows how one's going to react in a situation like that, you know. So, and I mean, you do things and not think about it.
So I did when I was.
I know I've done things without thinking about it. Like, I've seen something happen, like a bad car accident or something, and my first instinct is to put the car in park in the middle of the road and run after the person to make sure they're okay. So, I mean, people do react differently to different things, so.
Out of there, I did not look in the water. I wasn't looking in the water. I was just getting out of there.
Right.
So when I got out of there, there was a family up there on the observation deck. She's the one that told me that someone had called 911.
You were.
Because I knew I wouldn't have a certain news. I wasn't even really thinking about calling 911, to be honest with you. I was just thinking about getting the, Lord have mercy, the park place there where the park rangers be at.
Right.
I was taking the stuff there. But I didn't have no light on my nose before I couldn't smoke. So I just run to the store right quick. I wasn't gone probably 10 minutes or so, because the store's not far from the place.
So just 10 minutes, that was it?
Something like that.
So people were thinking you were gone for like 45 minutes and stuff like that, and I mean, like, yeah, I mean, that's plenty of time to run and go get a lighter and come back. 10 minutes.
Yes, because the store is Orem General Store. It's, well, just to estimate that time, it's not far from the park.
Right.
And, let me see. When I talked to the people on observation deck, she the one that told me. Matter of fact, I seen her. I don't even know who the lady is, but she told me that she was the lady on the observation deck. She was taking up for me. She said, there ain't no way that man had anything to do with this. She said, I talked with him. When he come out there, you could hear it in his voice. He was scared to death.
Aww.
He said, this man didn't have nothing to do with this people. But anyway, I left from her, from that observation deck, went straight to the boat landing. The people that were in the boat, they were already at the landing.
Alright, now y'all listen very carefully to this part.
With a girl, she was fishing off the bank. They hadn't even loaded their boat up yet. She was fishing off the bank. And I took the stuff out of my boat, and the other, there was probably 30 or 40 people standing there, that was at the park.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there probably wasn't that many, but them.
It seems like quite a bit of witnesses and people there.
Might have been.
Right. See, that's something else that's always been left out.
Anyway, there's like, when you back the boat down, there's like a wall on each side. And I took her belongings. I laid them up there on the side of that wall. Remind you, them two gentlemen that were standing there, and they was looking, talking.
Right.
I loaded my little one-man boat up. That's when I went and looked into the fanny bag. And that's when I seen her stuff. Remind you.
Right.
The laws was already there too and everything. So anyway, I'm just all with it.
So it's like the law kind of already had a heads up, even a little bit maybe before the 911 call. Because you hear that, well, later on in the conversation, he'll talk about how long it takes to get to where they were at and how fast, I guess, the officer was going. And since the 911 call, but remember, they didn't know where her location was. They couldn't find her location on the 911 call. And through different people I have talked to in law enforcement, that when something happens, like an unaliving or, collecting cell phones and stuff for evidence, that they do not put it on airplane mode. That they'll, whatever the detective or, whoever's doing it, they'll plug it up to their thing and they'll download all the data and, everything. I mean, they'll know when the last time you turned your phone off and on, So, but that they don't put it on airplane mode. And there's reasons for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot.
But trust and believe me, there was no lock on it. If there would have been a lock on it, something would have been, if I had done it, it would have been real or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
So he's saying that there was not a lock on it. That the lock wasn't on there. And he's saying that if he did, because since he went and put it on the bank or on the landing or wherever he was at, that he laid everything out, and they would have seen him take the lock off. And it would have been ripped because he would have ripped it off, or, whatever. Something would have been torn, messed up. So the lock was not on there. The lock was off.
There was no lock on that fanny pack, whatever you call it.
Right.
So anyway, I opened it up. I said, "Whoa, look at her and the money." And I said, "There's money in this bag." And I seen her driver's license, a bank card, a credit card. There was some type of little note. She had a Bible. Then she had prescriptions. I didn't see nothing about prescriptions, but I felt like that's what it was. She had a Bible, and she had, I'm going to tell you everything she had. She had some pads in there.
Did you happen to see what the note said, or?
I didn't really, I didn't have my glasses on. I couldn't have read it no way.
Right, okay.
It was some type of prescription or something like that.
Okay.
I put the stuff back in. I didn't pull it out. I was just looking at it. I counted the money when I got in the truck. I left from there, seen the laws. The law was sitting over there. I think there was just one deputy sheriff there at the time. I seen him over there. I said, "Whatever you when I said, I got to get me a lighter." Right to the store, came back, called Charles, and told him, I said, "Charles, something bad down here's happening to the law."
Right.
I rushed in there to the parking lot. There was a Ford 150 there, which was the law. He was like well, he didn't have one of their law clothes, but he had a drum on the back of the truck. And when I pulled in behind him, he said, "Sir, would you mind talking?" I said, "Hold on a minute, sir." I said, I didn't know her name was Mica. I said, I didn't have my glasses on.
Right.
I said, "You know a Mica or Mica?"
Now remember, she didn't say her name on the 911 call either. So they couldn't ping her location. She never said her name. But somehow, some way, they've already got every detail, all the information on who she is, where she came from, where she's been. I mean, to me, that's always stuck out to me. Like, that does not add up. Like, there was no investigation needed because they already knew everything. And that's just wild, especially with it being Robeson County, and, they don't investigate nothing, son.
Miller, how do you know her? I said,
Right.
Wait a minute. He said, I said, "I got a belonging." He said, "Step out the truck." He interrogated me. This, that, and that.
Probably thinking, "Oh crap, what you doing with her stuff?" Like, that stuff's supposed to be somewhere else, and you're not supposed to have it.
But I got to tell him what happened, this, that, and the other, and then he finally told me what had happened. He said, "Well, this young lady here has called and said that she was getting ready to kill herself. That the reason she was calling because she wanted her family to know so they could find her quickly."
Right.
And what else did he say? He said something else. But anyway.
Did you find that odd, or was that like weird to you that they had that much information at that time?
Well, I didn't really find. I got sick on my stomach.
Right. Yeah.
I broke down right there. I said, "Man, no, don't tell me that." He said, "Yeah."
And he's probably thinking, everything happening so fast, and him, I want to believe him, And, a lot of the stuff that we talked about and he said, it made sense, and when you're put in a situation or something happens that's just quick, you don't always think, like, it just, I don't know, it's like, you see somebody get hurt, and you want to run over there and check on them. You're not thinking, like, getting hit by a car or, whatever. You're just like, "Oh, I need to go help this person," So, and, he said the lock wasn't on the purse. He said it was actually Flo that told him about the lock on the purse. He didn't even know anything about a lock until Flo told him. And I think Flo showed him a picture from, it was like Mica's Ring door cam or something. And I mean, and if he laid it out in front of all these people, you know, there was a lock on there, he wouldn't have been able to, you know, open it so easily in front of all them people and say, oh, look at this stuff, you know, or, you know, the ID and, you know, things. So whatever she had in that bag, it was already got before he found it. That lock was already gone. So let me know what y'all think of this breakdown on this one. Now, I didn't start from the beginning on this one because the beginning of the conversation, I mean, we're just kind of warming up, I guess you'd say, with each other. And, because, I mean, I've never personally talked to the man anymore. I mean, or talked to the man, you know, voice to voice or anything like that at this time. So, and, I mean, we had chatted with each other, you know, messenger and stuff. But, I mean, as far as, like, actually physically talking, you know, this was our first time. So I have talked to him probably a couple times since. He did call me, and I didn't get to talk to him at that time because I had just started my new job, and that's where I was at, was first day. And he had called and was telling or asking me if I heard about the FBI raiding JP Diddy, and I told him yeah. So because he was messaging me after I couldn't answer, I asked him if I could call him back. And but anyway, let me know your thoughts, and thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know your thoughts. And if today's your birthday, happy birthday!